It is actually not that straightforward to decide if we do or do not draw on the other side of the sketchbook page, and it depends on your materials. Bad decisions might ruin your drawings, but there are several tricks and strategies that will help you to be safe. If you are not planning to cut out your pages to sell or to show the gallery, you want to draw on every page. In order to save paper, because good sketchbooks can be expensive, and because using the whole sketchbook spread allows you to make a more striking picture. But it's not always possible. It depends on your sketchbooks and the media you draw with. Some of the sketchbooks have very thin pages, like for example this Kanzen, that has 100-gram paper weight. Pages like that are always see-through and many media leave stains on the other side. Wet media can even leak through and ruin not only several of your blank pages, but even several of your previous sketches if you draw on the left side. To prevent such a catastrophe, always place a loose sheet of paper or two under the page you are drawing on, if there is even the slightest chance of leakage. With some media and style of drawing, it may be okay. For example, when it's your dress journal in which you do not care for aesthetics. Also, a simple graphite pencil might not be that distracting when shining through a bit, but it can still be a pain if you scan your works for further use. So in most cases, we only draw on every other page in such sketchbooks. And I will tell you my 2 strategies to make them look cooler in a couple of minutes. Other sketchbooks have thick pages that never leak through, and you can draw on every page with any medium in them. They either have a big paper weight like 200-300 grams, or include special layers like plastic film in the middle, primers or lamination. Like this one that I made out of glossy coated paper. You can see that neither alcohol markers nor watercolor is visible on the other side. And I could have happily drawn on every page, but here we run into another problem we should look out for. It's printing on the opposite page. With this particular paper it can happen a lot, so I need to think twice before using the whole spread. If I do, then I need to dry the pages longer or use protective piece of paper in between the pages. More on that later. And then there are sketchbooks that allow you to draw with some materials like pens or gouache on every page, but would leak through with others, like markers or watercolor. You have to thoroughly test all the media you use in all of your sketchbooks, to be more confident when deciding where to draw or not. For example, in this sketchbook, things like pens, colored pencils, pastels, and much more don't shine through, but any water media might leak a few pages through and hugely warps the paper. But even though pastels don't shine through here, they would print on the opposite page hard and every time. How can we deal with that? So, materials that are bad for drawing on the whole spread of pages, because they will print on the neighboring page, are pastels, oil pastels, graphite pencil, charcoal, anything dusty. Also, any image drawn with wet media better be dry before you turn the page. With any of these, you either draw only on one side of the spread, or use a piece of paper or plastic sheet between the pages when you close the sketchbook or turn the page. It could just be a plain piece of office paper. Also, fixity spray might help in preventing dry media to dust off on everything. But it has its cons. It might be not strong enough, might make your image duller, and might leak everywhere. Like here I fixed the charcoal, but it still dusted off on the opposite page, and fixative stains do not look so pretty. If you just must draw on the whole spread with your pastel, put a loose sheet of paper in the middle of it. So, as you see, having a lot of loose papers in the sides of your sketchbook on hand at all times is an important art hack. Another art hack, if you want to prevent leaking, would be to prime your pages with gesso, acrylic paint or primer. For example, this sketchbook has the same paper weight as many of my other sketchbooks, 100 grams, but has very leaky and porous paper that is just not a big pleasure to draw on. I painted some of the spreads with acrylic paint And as you see, not even alcohol markers can bleed through. I promised you 2 strategies to make your thin paper sketchbook look cooler. If you know that your media would stain the other page, you can plan ahead. One strategy would be to draw only on the right pages of your sketchbook. Left pages could be left alone with all of their stains, or you could stick on them loose sketches or blank paper to draw on. But what if you like to draw on the whole spread? Then we use the second strategy. Draw on both pages, then skip the next spread, then draw on the whole spread again, and completely pass the next one, and so on. That way, every other spread in your sketchbook would consist only of stains. You can leave it as is, or you can carefully glue those stained pages together. Be careful not to damage your sketches. Glue can leak through also. Or, as in our previous strategy, stick some blank paper or loose sketches on there. You can alternate these 2 strategies, and you're all set.